Hello class, this is my first attempt to make a short video. I want to stay under 15 minutes about the basics of chapter 6. So let me go over a few slides and then I will go over the in-class activity problem. So everything in this chapter is about placing fixed overhead, nothing else, just fixed overhead. So we talked in chapter 1 about product or manufacturing costs. So these costs go to cost of goods sold for the items that are sold. What is not sold is stays in inventory. We capitalize them. So these costs will stay in the inventory on the balance sheet until the items are sold. Period costs include selling and administrative expenses, and we expense them out. All of them go straight to the income statement. So the question is really here about there is variable overhead, which will be the same under both methods, and then there will be fixed overhead. So it's all about where are we going to place fixed overhead. We have two different methods. Under the absorption method, fixed overhead remains part of the product costs. But under a new variable cost method, we will actually classify it as a period cost. So under absorption, it stays as a product cost. Under absorption, which is GAAP, regular income statement. Under variable costing method, which is a new one, non-GAAP, it's completely expensed out. So the results will be different, the net income will be different. So this slide talks about the same thing. We use either variable costing, non-GAAP. This is not GAAP, this is just internal, no GAAP. So under variable costing, we're gonna classify fixed overhead as a period cost. So if you look here under variable costing, we include direct materials, direct labor, and variable overhead. We do not put fixed overhead here. Fixed overhead will be completely expensed out. Under absorption, we're going to absorb all costs, including fixed overhead. Fixed overhead is a product cost. So if we don't sell some items, fixed overhead for those items will remain on the balance sheet. Okay. So what's variable overhead? Here are the examples. What's fixed overhead? Here is the examples. Like I said, everything is about where do you place fixed overhead. Everything else could be ignored. You can ignore this slide. This is a great exhibit. I talked about it. So absorption costing method is GAAP. We absorb all manufacturing costs. All of them are product costs. Sorry, go back. So a part of the fixed overhead for the items that we do not sell remains on the balance sheet. Under variable costing, fixed overhead is classified as a period cost, period expense. So the entire amount is expensed out. Again, under absorption, fixed overhead is a product cost. So for the items that we do not sell, that part of fixed overhead will remain in the inventory on the balance sheet. Under variable costing, the entire amount of fixed overhead will be expensed out. This is the last great slide you need to see. It gives you just lines, items that you need to include. This is your absorption income statement. This is GAAP. And guys, this is contribution margin income statement. We talked about it in chapter 5. This is non-GAAP, or this chapter calls it variable costing income statement. Again, the only difference is in the placement of fixed overhead, really. Under variable, this is the entire amount. the whole thing, 100%, the whole thing will be expensed out. Under absorption, fixed overhead, only a portion, not the entire thing, but only a portion for the items sold. The items that are not sold will remain in the inventory. So under absorption, your gross margin, your net income could be lower or higher than under variable method, depending on how many items you produce versus how many you sell. This is it for the slides. I send you a problem, illustration problem with 3 scenarios, and with the solution. That's a great way to study. Go over that problem. The rest of the PowerPoint slides also go over the examples. The only other slide I need you to know is this one. This is the only other slide with this formula. You will have to use this formula. If you know variable cost and net income, how to convert it to absorption and vice versa. So I'm going to stop here because I want to keep the video shorter, and then I will record the second video going over the in-class activity problem right after this. Okay? Thank you.